Hey everyone, and welcome. It is already week 3 of what's growing in the garden. I can't believe it's been 3 weeks already. Things are really starting to take off in the garden, so we will go tour that here in a little bit. But I'm going to throw a few clippets in of things that are blooming that are just beautiful. We had a rainy day, so I have a few clips of that, as well as we are going to plant some things out in the field in a couple raised beds, and then we are going to plant some seeds in the greenhouse. So stay tuned for what those are. Plus, I just got done harvesting a nice big fresh bunch of oregano. This is actually my second picking. I did an herb video on how I harvest, dehydrate, and store herbs, so if you're interested in that, I will link it in the description below, but let's get started. Okay, in this bed, I'm going to be putting my dianthus black adder, and I'm going to be putting it in this raised bed simply because this is a biennial where we live, which means it's a 2-year plant, so it's not an annual and it's not a perennial. But I will be honest, just depending on the type of winter that you have, sometimes your biennials here in Zone 8B in Oregon will live longer than the 2 years. Okay, I have about half of the bed taken up now with the dianthus black adder, and the other half down here, you can see I haven't amended it with compost yet, but I have dahlias that are coming up in here. You can see there, and there's a couple of weeds, but then right there also is a dahlia. And I mentioned in a different video, I kind of quit growing dahlias because they don't last as long as all my other cut flowers and bouquets. So at the moment I'm going to leave them, but if I decide I need this space for something else, I probably will take the dahlias out and maybe just stick them in some pots. Okay, one of the other things that we are going to be doing on week 3 is planting some sweet corn. And it's called Obsession sweet corn. I buy it from Haas, and their website is literally just haastools.com. Highly recommend Obsession sweet corn, and it's the kind that you go get at the farm stand and you literally could eat 4 pieces of it before you realize you even ate 4 pieces of it. It's that good. I did buy a new package. This is an older package. It came, this one was 1,000 seeds, and I've almost worked my way through this package, and I got a new package this year of another 1,000 seeds. We're going to be growing quite a bit of it in the garden this year. We're going to be canning some of it and eating a lot of it fresh. So I will show you how I start this indoors because we have really bad mice pressure here. So if I were to go put the seeds in the ground, the mice would just dig them up and eat them, and it would be pointless. So if I get them going in the greenhouse first, get them to an established size, which I'll show you later on following weeks of what's growing in the garden, I'll show you just about how big they are when we actually plant them out in the field, and one of the tips that I have for planting them out in the field. So like most of my other videos, that if you've seen them, when I get my soilless mix ready for planting any kind of a seed, I do pre-moisten it so that it stays together mostly in a clump but breaks apart really easily when I just bump it with my thumb. You can tell my gloves are still wet because I got done mixing it all up. And I'm going to be starting the corn in just these same little like 4 tray cell packs. I used these for something else and already got them planted out in the field, so I'm just going to reuse them. I don't have any diseases or anything in my greenhouse, so it's not going to hurt anything. I'm just going to fill these up like I always do. I just get it put in here and I tamp it down a little bit with my hand. So I'm going to get my tray all filled up, and then I'll show you what I do when I plant the corn. Alright, before we get started putting the sweet corn in these packs, I just kind of wanted to show you something. So you see how I have them all in here all of the cell packs are facing the same direction, right? And can you see this little bit of space here on the end? So I have 12 in here right now, but if I take and turn this last row this direction, I have room for one extra pack. And so I love to do that. It makes efficiency in my greenhouse as far as space-wise a lot more, well, it makes for a lot more efficiency in my greenhouse, I guess I should say. So that's just a little tip. And again, these are 10-20 trays. I went over all of these in a different video. I kind of showed you how I stored my seeds and the different types of containers that I use. So if you're interested in that, I have it in one of my playlists. But now we will get to planting the corn. If I can get this package open. Oh, there we go. Okay. So I just have a nice handful, nice wrinkly good dried corn. And I'm just going to go through, and I really only put one per pack because I don't really want to mess with thinning out or transplanting. I have done it before and it hasn't really hurt the plants at all, but for as many times, I'm going to be succession planting, and if you don't know what that term means, it just means that instead of just one planting per season, you do multiple. So I will plant this week, and then next week I will start another batch, next week another batch, and then the fourth week probably my final batch, because for the days to harvest in my growing area, I have to calculate the growing time to make sure that there's enough days for these to properly mature and put on the heads of corn that I so desperately want, and not have a bunch of wasted stalks out in the garden because they didn't have enough time. And on this Obsession sweet corn, it shows on here it takes 80 days for maturity, so a little less than 3 months. Right now we are at the very end of April. I'll be able to plant these out in about 2 weeks. And then from there, I will plant, so about May 15th, I'll probably get these in the ground. And then every week after that for 4 weeks, I will plant the succession plantings of corn. And that kind of ensures it staggers my harvest. It's not all ready at once and gives me time to process it and to eat it. And actually probably to share some. So now I'll show you how I get these down. I just take my 2 fingers, go over top of the seed and just press down about halfway down the pot. It's about an inch, I guess, and I'm just going to do that to the whole pot. And this potting medium is so light and fluffy, it's really easy to get this down in here like this. And then I am going to come through here. First, I will show you 2 different ways you can do this. You can just kind of wiggle it like this. The potting medium I have in here right now is a little bit on the damper side. So I'll show you the other way that this will just instantly fill up without having to mess with it too much. Okay, so I just have like a little nozzle on the end of my hose here. I have it set to the shower setting. And if I take this and don't turn it on too awfully fast, you can just see it just caves that soil right on top of the seed and gets it properly buried for me for the spacing, as well as it just instantly waters my seeds in for me. So now we have that planted. Now we'll get on to our next project. So I'm just going to take my little narrow trowel and I'm going to get it down in the hole, and I'm just going to kind of loosen up the dirt a little bit. It's really already loose because this soil has been amended so many times, but I'll just kind of show you how I'm planting them and let you watch. I'm going to put some of my status in the ground first. These didn't quite get wet all the way down, but we'll give them a good watering in. And I just kind of get it down in the hole and then just work my fingers around the dirt. See if I can get you up closer. Get the plant down in the hole. Probably shaking you. And then I just take my fingers and I just kind of work the dirt compost all around. And then we'll water it in. Now we're going to move on to straw flower. Okay, I have completed planting what I needed to get done this morning. So in here we have bupleurum along with some bunny-tailed grass. The volunteers that were already here, I just planted the new seedlings that I had next to them. This is the rest of the bupleurum. These are the status. These are the straw flowers. This is honeywort. And this is the Persian cress. And I just want to show you, I put my drip tape on. So if you can see that, the drip tape is on, but I did go ahead and just give them a quick hand water just to get the dirt secured around their roots. Again, to avoid as much transplant shock as possible. So we will keep an eye on these throughout our series, and you'll get to watch them grow and develop some gorgeous flowers. Now in the second row of phase 1 that has all of the weed mat, this whole row here, all the way down to about the last maybe quarter, is planted in snapdragons. And I have 3 different varieties. One of them is called a butterfly, which is kind of a ruffly bloom. So that'll be exciting to show you once they start to bloom. But that is all I'll be planting in here for now until the night temperatures warm up a little bit and I can put some of the warmer season flowers in here. Woke up to a drizzly morning, which is kind of nice after all the days of sunshine we've had in spring, but it's going to go right back to being nice again, which I also appreciate because I have a lot of work to do. But it's just kind of pretty, kind of refreshing. The birds are loving it. So waiting for the rain to dry up a little bit outside before I go out there, I made some cranberry orange scones. They are delicious. If you want the recipe and want me to do a quick cooking tutorial on them, let me know and I will incorporate that into another video. So I have this little section right outside my greenhouse. I thought last year I put cucumbers and cantaloupe here, and even though they're supposed to be deer resistant, I found the deer just came along and munched on the leaves. So I am going to put my sweet peas along here. We'll see how far down they go, and I think because the breeze kind of blows this way uphill, that will just waft or waft, however you want to say it, the smell up into my greenhouse, and yum. Okay, so I got the sweet peas all mulched in. I didn't put a ton of mulch on here yet because I'm probably going to plant something in front of it since sweet peas don't last the whole season. But I got that done for now, and I will be putting a soaker hose on these. Okay, so I took and pruned a few of the crossed lower branches off of my fig tree. That's what this is. I did it yesterday and he's starting to droop, but I just wanted to show you. So with fig trees, I'm going to come down here, I'm going to give them a little trim. And then I have this little pot over here. It's kind of in the shade, just some random dirt from old pots that I had. And I'm going to stick him in there. I'm going to give him a little bit of a water, and believe it or not, that will root. I have started 3 different fig trees this way. The one fig tree that we have really produces enough figs for our taste of what we do with them, but we give them away to people. So let's keep an eye on this one throughout the season. All right. Alright, so it's the end of the week. I cannot believe it is here already, but it is. We are going to now go tour the garden, see how much bigger some of the things have gotten, and I'm going to show you a couple of pretties on the way down there. So my bleeding heart is fully bloomed out. It's starting to fade a little bit, but it's still really pretty. And in front of that, the peony, the buds are just getting bigger and bigger by the day, so this is going to be gorgeous when it blooms out. And in here, my beautiful little red coral bells putting on a show. And my beautiful hot pink azalea. Now this poor thing, it actually, there's a bunch of daffodil bulbs planted in there. And then over on the other side is gooseneck loosestrife. And if you know anything about gooseneck loosestrife, it's a spreader and can be invasive. So I've got to work on this spot, clearing it out so I can give this poor little azalea room to breathe again. So my little pixie crunch apple tree, those glorious blooms from last week are almost all faded and off the tree and are now starting to develop little apples. Pear tree is still loaded. The little pears that are trying to form on here are getting bigger. Let's see if I can get up close for you. Garlic, I just gave it a boost of fertilizer because, like I say, it's just doing its magic underground. I gotta weed that bed, holy crow. And these are the sugar snap peas, getting taller. And over here, this is where we planted the kohlrabi last week, and I was talking about how my sugar snap, or not my sugar snap, my regular English peas were looking really sad. I gave them a shot of fertilizer, even though they make their own nitrogen. I gave them a boost of fertilizer, and they seem to be doing a little bit better. I did a spray called Repel All, and I don't know if that helped either, but they seem to be coming out of their stuntedness. And then down here I had to put bird netting over top of the kohlrabi because the birds actually bit a couple of them. So hopefully those will recover. Raspberries still doing their thing. Haven't gotten them trellised yet. Let me know down in the comments if you're like me. You have so many projects. You intend to get them done, but weeks go by and you just don't. Lilies are getting much taller in with the blueberries. And the potatoes, oh holy cow, can you see how those back there in the back are getting so big? They're starting to cover up the soil. Pretty soon I won't even be able to see it. The ones in the tub down here have gotten really nice and big. And the rest of them over there, same thing. They're just doing great. Goji berry, I'm still waiting to see those purple blooms on there. That's going to be exciting. And the carrots, I'll just give you a quick view. My shadow's going to be in the way, but you can see carrots growing up in there. And all these beds, my herb bed is lushing out. My onions, I did give them a shot of fertilizer. They look like they're starting to do a little bit better, at least some of them. I am going to give them another shot of fertilizer today. Hopefully that helps. Again, the English peas doing good. I won't drag you all the way down there, but these are just kind of at the end. I need to come through, trim them all, get those done. You can see down there at the very end, whoop, right there, the oregano bed down there. I also whacked off some of that and put it in the dehydrator. The strawberries are getting nice and tall. And I think I even saw when I was out here the other day. Let me look in here. Guess they're mostly still blooming. I thought I did see, oh, there's one down there. The bloom's about done and the strawberries are starting to form. And I moved my girls over to this section of the pen. So they're all, again, always looking for a snack. So in here, this is the netting that I put over the cauliflower. You can see down there, they actually have already doubled in size this week. It's kind of hard to see through the netting, but they have. And the English peas, and this is the broccoli. I don't know if you can see that back there. Let me see if I can zoom you in. These literally have, I think, tripled in size. It's been kind of awesome. One last look at the herb bed up close. With the weather getting warmer, boy, things are really starting to take off, and it won't be long and we'll be harvesting actual vegetables. So that's all I have this week. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I look forward to seeing you on What's Grown in the Garden for week 4.